FanCorner, your favorite nerdy, unhinged podcast. Today joining us is FanCorner's homie, Jelaire. Woo!
Yay!
And me, the face of FanCorner, Rachel.
Yay!
Yes, I'm cheering for myself. It's fine. Okay, so today we're doing Sunrise on the Repeat Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. I don't know what that is. That's this weird thing I've started to say. I don't know.
It's been a thing for forever. I'm pretty sure it's an actual movie, but...
Okay, so I thought it was based off of, like, I really deadass thought it was like the name of a parade at Disneyland.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's not. You're right. It is a movie. Brian said that, and I've never heard of this movie. I think he said Electric Boogaloo once. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of people say it.
So I ran with it.
No, it's so funny. I just looked it up. It's a movie from 1984 called Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it's a dance movie.
Okay, well, being a dance movie makes this slightly less cringe, actually, in a weird way, I feel like.
Don't worry about it. Everybody says it. I say it too.
Okay, good. I thought, like, this was something that just me and Brian said, so I was worried we were weirdos.
Nope.
Like, you know how that'll happen? You'll make up a bit, and then, like, you say the bit, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They're like, what Vine are you referencing? And I'm like, it's my own thing.
Okay, you bringing it back to Vine is so wild, because Brian does that all the time, and I never know what the fuck I was never on Vine, because I'm younger than
I
both of you.
never was on Vine either. I just saw the compilations and stuff.
Okay, so, hot take, I tried watching some of the compilations, and I was like, these suck. Like, I was like, I don't get it.
I think it's like you had to be there kind of moments. Maybe. I don't know.
Before we get into the main topic, let's do some high mids. So, Miss Jelaire, what is your high today?
My high is that Rachel and I went to the Harry Potter experience. Yay! And so that was really fun. I'm glad we got to go, and we dressed up really cute. And we noticed things that were incorrect at the exhibition.
Let's fucking talk about it, actually, because what the fuck was happening? This is an official event, okay, by actual Warner Brothers. People were paid to do this, and we were charged money to go. And then it had this section with all the, like, the Deathly Hallows, and where it was Invisibility Cloak, because you could see the Resurrection Stone, whatever, and then Invisibility Cloak, it just had nothing there because it's invisible. But it's not invisible! Unless it's on you! What the fuck are you talking about, bro? I was like... I think I almost broke, actually.
Which is so fair. Well, like, because Rachel noticed that, and then they had different themed classrooms, and so we were in the divination classroom, and they had music relevant to each, like music from the films for each classroom part, and I was like, why are we getting Gilderoy Lockhart's song from Chamber of Secrets over and over in the divination room? The mathing there, that's kind of weird. And then also when we were in the potions classroom, you get to, like, do this interactive thing where you, like, you know, brew a potion or whatever. And they showed a clip from the movie, and it was a Polyjuice potion scene, and it said Philosopher's Stone movie as, like, the credit. And I'm like, that's Chamber of Secrets, bitch. Why are we spreading false information?
Okay, so what's funny is I was like, Jelaire was so bugged by the first two, and I was like, it's fine. I was like, it's a typo. Someone's a moron. Maybe they thought this was a better bop. I'm gonna let it go. But the Invisibility Cloak gets me because someone set that up. That went through multiple rounds of approvals. Because of art direction, you're not just allowed to do whatever the fuck you want at a big company. People approved that at multiple steps. Jesus. Anyway. Also,
we got
funny story because, like...
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was just gonna say, it was really funny, too, because we showed up really cute, like Jelaire said. We were, like, on theme. We were, like, whatever. We had wands. Like, we were committed, because, I mean, why are you going to it if you're not committed? And, it was comical how much more committed we were than anyone else there.
And also,
people were
like...
not dressed up. Someone was like, who's Tonks? And his wife was like, oh, I think she's married to Lupus. And I was like...
Yeah, after that moment, we were like, I think we need to not be around people, because so many people were saying things that were incorrect about the story. And we had to just not be people that are like, actually, it's really like this. You know? So we're like, we
were so insufferable.
And we got
like,
so excited over random things, too. And it was so fun. What were you going to say?
We had so much fun. We were definitely insufferable know-it-alls just a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a part where they do, like, some trivia with you. Like, the cast members come out and they do some trivia with you. And it was, like, so easy. Like, it was like, what do you say to open the Marauders map? Where did they get the Marauders map? And you could tell that we knew more than the girl asking, the employee. She was, like, clocking in. She's like, I don't fucking know. It was hilarious.
Well, and then the other question was, like, who are the Marauders? And so we said who they were, and then it's like, okay, but who are they actually? And so I'm like, okay, yeah, name all of them off. And there's 2 other people with us that could answer the questions, and we waited to give them a chance to answer, and it was just awkward silence. So we're like, okay, we just look like these people that just know everything.
Yeah, we just look like assholes, actually. Like, I purposely was like, shut up, Rachel. Like,
yeah.
I was like, we have to wait at least 3 full seconds before we answer the question.
Right.
It was hilarious. But no, we snuck around and stuff. Like, have you seen the trend on TikTok, Jelaire, or in people of the internets that are watching us? Have y'all seen the trend that's, like, playing vampires? Okay, well, first of all, it's fucking excellent, so you need to go to that TikTok, okay? I'm gonna start sending you some. So, have you heard of playing mermaids? Like, when you're a little girl?
Okay, yes, I have heard about playing vampires. Now,
okay, yes.
In that context,
like yeah. People are like, oh, we're playing vampires, and when they're traveling up in Pacific Northwest, and it's like people, just grown-ass people, like slow-mo running and jumping off trees and like whatever. Which, by the way, I go to Seattle next month, Portland next month, so you bet I'm fucking doing this. I've sent every single one of these TikToks to Brian. And he's decided we're gonna recreate, but like really badly on purpose, the scene where he's like, hold on tight, spider monkey.
Yeah, I mean, as you gotta do.
As we have to. But like, it was like we were playing witches. Like, we were just like, we're like sneaking around. Like, we were just like goofing off. I don't know. Yeah,
we were having so much fun. I got so stupidly excited for whatever reason about the Bogart cabinet in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. I was like, and like slapped it, and I'm like, dude, I don't know why, but that got me. You know, I was like, I need to chill.
I thought they had like, there was like, you entered Hagrid's hut.
Oh, that was cute.
It was like, there was an egg like in the fireplace, like Norbert, and I was like, like, and nothing even happened. It doesn't even crack or anything, but I was very stoked about it. So it was good times. It was very good times.
Yeah.
Oh my god, sidebar about all this that we're talking about. I was literally telling this to Brian last night because I've been posting content from us going to the Harry Potter exhibition on my TikTok, for those of you that have missed it. But Brian was saying like how, I don't know, he asked something about my content strategy or something, and I was like, because like there's like this trend about focusing on decentering men from your life. And I was like, yeah, I guess I view it as like, I need to make sure that like people like Jelaire are on my feed more than you. It's literally what I told my very serious partner, is I was like, yeah, like I purposely make sure that I post more about like my besties than you would ever be on my TikTok.
It's incredible.
Like, literally, if you were just to scroll, you should notice Jelaire before you notice Brian. Like, that's the goal, actually. Is like, he's like a deep cut, because he's not the center of my life. Like, anyway, I just thought that was really funny. I thought you would abuse you.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, that makes me think of how even at the Harry Potter exhibition, we, like, you were buying something, and then Rachel kept yelling, "Babe!" back at me, so the cashier totally thought we were a couple.
She straight up she started smiling more, and I was like, I'm cute, but why is she smiling this much? And then I clocked it the third time. I was like, hey, babe! Like, because as I was seeing other things I knew Jelaire would like. But it was really funny because, like, I call everyone babe, but, like, I'm not going to correct her. Like, sure. Like,
yeah. Yeah, like,
let's
whatever.
normalize that in deep red Utah. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So it was a fun moment.
that's a
Safe to
great
say that
high.
was both of our highs, unless you have a
Yeah,
different high.
absolutely. No, I
Yeah.
think that was a perfect high. I'm obsessed with it. Good job.
Yeah.
What's your mid, Miss Jelaire?
So this is really goofy. Over the weekend, I went to a lake day. I went up to Bear Lake, and I sunscreened everywhere multiple times, whatever. And then I thought I was doing so great. Then I got home, and I found that somehow amidst, like, you know, the multiple times of like reapplying, I missed some spots. So I have the most random sunburns on my legs that looked like abstract art. And I was like, how did this happen? They were so stupid. And like, immediately, obviously got home, aloe vera, I'm fine. But I was like, what the hell? I was so diligent. So what happened?
Okay, so I have a question about your technique. Yeah. Did you lotion and then spray, or did you just lotion? Or like, what was the technique going on here?
I did both.
Wow, and it's still fucked up. Wow, that's crazy. Because usually I feel like that has solved most of my like accidental sunburns. Mm-hmm. Although to be fair, you were in the sun a lot longer than I physically could be in the sun, so what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, and I kept getting in and out of the water, so like every time I got out of the water and I dried off, I tried reapplying as well. Sure. So I think that's potentially where that
actually hilarious.
That fucked up.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It wasn't like too bad. It just looked horrific,
Sure.
like,
sure.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You're so good at bringing mids that are like truly mid. Like they're just kind of funny, and then I'm always like, let's go dark. Actually.
I just thought of like a normal. Well, you can say you're mid, but I thought of like a true mid for you.
Oh my god, what do you have? I would love to hear it, but I'm going to say what I want to say that's dark too.
Well,
so
yeah,
like, let's just do both.
Moving.
Girl, that is way worse than a mid. It has been horrible.
Okay, no, everything about it I know has been horrible, but the actual act of moving is mid.
Well, okay, I'll give you packing is mid, but the act of moving was really hard. Like, that's way... Anyway. But actually it was really hard because my low is that... Lowered my pitch. That was so dramatic. So as I've told y'all, I have anemia now too. Well, they know about it. I've had it for at least 8 years that I can find in my medical documentation of low hemoglobin. But doctors never flagged it to me. But they still have not got me in for an infusion.
So you don't get to be a vampire just yet.
Well, and I also don't get better. So last week, my doctor was like, yep, your blood work, like last Monday. Yep, your blood work's low, it's still low. You've been on the iron supplements, which we knew it wasn't going to help because of how many years I've had this. But she was like, you have to do it because of insurance. It's like part of the game in American healthcare. But then she was like, great, I'm going to put through all the paperwork, and I should have it done in a few days for you to go to the infusion center. And I was like, awesome. They called me yesterday, but then they were like, we're going to call you again to give you a quote for how much you owe us, because that's how life is. And I still hadn't heard from them by end of day today. So I called right before their office closed, and I was like, hey, like, I still haven't heard, like, what the tea is. And she's like, oh yeah, that process, the quote process takes about 7 to 14 business days. And then it takes another 7 to 14 to do pre-authorization with your insurance. The quote's just like a good faith quote before they do pre-auths. And then you get scheduled. So who fucking knows how long that schedule's out. So I, in my head, thought I'd be feeling a lot better by Portland Comic-Con, when in reality, that's not what's going to happen. And so I'm just in pain and nauseous and tired every fucking single day. And I just started crying, like, on the phone with this lady, this poor tech. And I was just like, look, queen, that is so long. I was like, can we expedite? What can we do? I was like, I've been anemic for 8 years. Like, this isn't like, so a lot of people that get anemia, it's from like an event, like a pregnancy or something. It's like acute. They just need to get their iron back up, then they're fine. That's probably not my situation. And so like, I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody, because it's like they're holding this healthcare in front of me, but they're like, not yet, little hoe, keep running. Like,
Oh my gosh.
blood volume content of a recently deceased corpse, and people expect me to do things like move, like clean an old house from top to bottom. What the fuck are you talking about, Jelaire? Would you look at someone that was on their deathbed and be like, actually, are you gonna move, or do you know what I mean? Should you repaint these walls first? Like, no, you wouldn't do that, right? Because you'd be a dick, and that's pretty much my baseline. I get weird adrenaline. I was explaining this to Brian because I have so much more energy on TikToks and when we're podcasting and stuff, and I was like, so you almost can't tell that I'm sick? And I was like, it kind of feels like, because the second I get out of these, I like, and Jelaire knows this about me, we've been laughing about it for years, but we didn't know it was because I'm chronically ill. I have to like take a bath, because that's what brings my nausea back down. I have to do all these crazy things. I'm like, go into my little igloo. It's because I'm sick, bitch. Like, I'm just cosplaying a healthy girl 2 hours a day, when really I'm dead. I'm a vampire. I literally, look at this skin. Do you think you get this white if you're healthy? No, you do not! Anyway, so I'm having a rough day. I've been so angry at everyone and so. All right, now that I've depressed everyone. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it's called You're Being Real. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, it's being vulnerable, actually.
Yeah.
Let's get into the main topic, which is actually, coincidentally, way more depressing. So we're just gonna keep the low vibes going, actually.
Which is so funny, because, like, the book is low vibes, but we are hope vibes.
Okay, yeah, we're trying to go for hope core, okay? Very Superman energy up in here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Which we're gonna do an episode about next week. Tune in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Okay.
It's gonna be so funny because I'm gonna like launch 3 episodes all at once because I'm so behind from the move. People are gonna be like, what the fuck's happening? It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fantastic.
It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, so let's start with Effie. Because Effie shows back up in Sunrise on the Reaping, so we see young Effie. And along our theme of rebellion that we're talking about, the moment when Effie chooses to stand with Haymitch at the end. So reminder, he tries to kill himself at the end of his games, kind of pulling an attempted Katniss, if you will, okay? Kill each other, you know, except not in like a I love you way, obviously.
Yeah, in a like, fuck the Capitol, let's, you know, not let them win.
I don't want to live anymore kind of way.
Yeah.
You know? So Haymitch is getting punished by Snow. There's a crazy celebration. He's like being treated horribly, all kinds of stuff. When he's doing his like victory like interview, right, with Caesar Flickerman, no one's standing near him. He's being guarded by peacekeepers like very intensely. And Effie comes and stands near him. And the peacekeepers are like, "What are you doing, bro?" And she's like, "He's a victor and we're going to treat him as such." And like, it was so powerful, and he was like, "It's your funeral." That's literally, he's like, "It's your funeral." How brave is that on Effie's part?
Right? Like, iconic.
Also find it interesting because her rebelliousness comes from a place of like, because I feel like I've seen a lot of discourse around Effie's cognitive dissonance, because she, at the same time, promotes the Empire. Wrong franchise.
Wrong franchise. Promotes the Capitol. In a way, she very much like is a representation of the Capitol, you know.
Absolutely.
But she also like sees people as human, and so it's this interesting. She's so interesting because she is like embodying like what the Capitol is, but is like believing the propaganda that's fed to her. But then it's like, well, then why are we not treating them the way we're making them out to be? You know?
Yeah, and that's what I find so interesting about Effie. Because I think, like, first of all, I think the only way she actually embodies the Capitol, except a few rogue statements, for the most part, is in her style.
Yeah, that's more or less what I mean. How she presents herself is like a figurative, like, one glance, you see her Capitol girly pop. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I actually, it's interesting because I think what this, like the whole plot line with Cinna later in Katniss's book is supposed to show us is fashion is not inherently evil. Just because the capital people have fashion, that's not what makes it evil, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? And so I find that very interesting. But Effie, you were right on it when you said she buys into the propaganda. Like, I think most people would be uncomfortable with the idea of genocide, which is what's happening in these books, right? Most people are uncomfortable with that sort of oppression. And so your oppressive governments have to come up with these wild lies. And in the capital, it's that we have to have the Hunger Games, because if we don't have the Hunger Games, then all chaos will break loose and like worse things will happen. People will suffer more. And so what I find interesting about Effie is she clearly buys that because she's been taught it from a young age. But then we see these moments where what the propaganda says and what the capital is doing doesn't actually match up, because the capital doesn't give a shit about if people would suffer more. They just want to be above. And they just want control. Exactly. So Effie, in that moment, because when she responds to that peacekeeper, she says, he's a victor and I'm going to treat him as such. It's because her justice sensitivity is speaking up of like, we've been told the victors should be lauded. Why are you treating him like this? What's your problem, bro? And I actually think it's beautiful. She's using their own propaganda against them, not on purpose, but just because she's bought into the fact that the Hunger Games is necessary to prevent more suffering. So her herself only buys into it because she's a loving, empathetic person who wants as little suffering as possible. And I think that that's the heart of Effie that so many people miss.
Totally. I agree. Like, yeah, that's just so nice. It's so beautiful to think of it that way, because it's not Effie's fault that she like grew up in the capital and was raised on the Kool-Aid, basically, of all of this. But the fact that she is able to recognize like the injustice is awesome.
That is 100% accurate. Yeah, she's acting on the information she has, but she's able to take in new information, which a lot of people cannot do and do not bother to do. A lot of people are like, oh, I've been told these are evil people, and so if I see something that doesn't quite add up with that, I'm just going to go with it. Whereas Effie, from the very beginning when we first meet her, she comes in because the stylist is a piece of shit, and she comes in and saves the day, right? And she's helping style Haymitch, and Haymitch picks something up off the ground for her. And reminder, Haymitch has been treated horribly. At the time, tributes were treated like livestock in their prep teams. It's not like it was later with Katniss, which I'm not saying is great either, but like it's a lot better.
Yeah.
He picks something up for her, and she's like, thank you so much. And she like clocks that he's a good person in that moment. And she references that later. And I think that's so key to her character, exactly what you're saying. She's able to still take in new information. She believes what the Capitol's told her because it's the only information she has access to. Because the Capital controls your data points. But the second she gets more data points, she adjusts her worldview. And that is so beautiful. And we all should strive to be more and more like that, to take in that information around us.
Period. And like...
So basically, Effie's a hero.
She is a hero. And like that aspect of her doesn't stop, because we see it through, Katniss's games, and then even her like, Mockingjay being like, oh my gosh, and becoming a part of the rebellion and learning what's been going on. She, like we said, she's actively like learning and like moving forward.
Absolutely. Especially, you have to realize like Plutarch, you're like, oh, well, if we were to compare her to another capital.
Yeah.
Plutarch's crazy more aware than her, but Plutarch has an insane library. He's also, as in the roles that he is as like the cameraman and stuff, he sees stuff that Effie does not have access to.
Yes.
It's sort of like a need to know situation. She doesn't have clearance to this information.
Right.
It makes sense that she was not as far along in her rebel journey at this point in time. But you're absolutely right. In Catching Fire, I love the scene, because, obviously PETA goes rogue when they're on their victory tour. And PETA's like, I'm going to give them 1 month of our earnings every year. The Ruse family.
Oh, yeah.
And all hell breaks loose and whatever. They're ushered from the city. And it kind of like, from city to city, they then are treated differently or indifferently, instead of like these celebratory parades, which is what you see on TV. it's not actually about that anymore because they're trying to control the narrative the Capitol is. And Effie, at one point, guards are like rushing them into the car and treating them like criminals. And Effie's like, "What are you doing? Like, this is like, because they've been told that if you are a victor, they've been told that this is as good as it gets. Like, these are the kids that represent all that's good in the Capitol." And so for her to see soldiers treating them like this, it's confusing to her, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I think it just perfectly shows that sort of like, what the fuck? Like, it always comes off as a little like Effie's stupid in those moments, but when you realize that this is her worldview shifting, it's like, good for her for still actively speaking up in front of soldiers with guns.
No, period.
What a fucking icon. Like, I mean, I'd love to think I'd stand up in front of policemen, but like, if we're being honest, would I?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Let's all be a little more like Effie.
Let's all be like Effie. Effie's a fucking icon. And you know what? I know she's upset in, book 3, Mockingjay, when she doesn't have access to some of the stuff, but it's because, if we're being honest, and that's the whole point of the series, District 13 is also crazy in a whole different way.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, she's still valid for that. It comes off as like, oh, poor little rich girl doesn't have lipstick, but it's like, no, this state's also a little fascist still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right? She just wants something that's like, makes her have a sense of identity,
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I keep seeing stuff recently, like this trend online of like how our society has become hyper individual, and it seems like people are sort of attacking the idea of like how we all like have boundaries and stuff, and like look different and things, and I'm like, that's very strange to me, because obviously community is so important, but communities are made stronger when individuals are expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And I actually think uniformity only benefits oppressive regimes. It's when you're trying to be controlling, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Period. That's so interesting.
Really deep about Hunger Games.
When is Hunger Games not deep?
Actually, fucking preach. All right. Actually, this is the least weird episode we've ever had. Versus our Harry Potter episode sometimes when we're like, here's this one sentence we're going to talk about for the entire episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, for real. I'm like, Hunger Games is deep. Oh, it's like the meme. There's like a meme format that's like a dead meme at this point, where it's like an astronaut looking at the world and another astronaut's behind them. And the first astronaut is like, in this context, it's like, has Hunger Games always been deep? And then the one behind is like, it always has been. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We kind of referenced him. Let's move on to Plutarch, specifically or in general. I was thinking his library, wherever you want to take it.
Sure. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, okay, I know we talked about Plutarch before in our previous episode, but like, his character is so interesting. The fact that he has this massive life. Plutarch is so like knowledgeable and calculated, and like is able to kind of play both sides because of the privilege he has in the Capitol. Like it makes sense that a lot of that would have been informed by what he consumed, in his library.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So access to a library doesn't necessarily equivalent to knowledgeable, right? Because sometimes people have access to libraries all the time and they don't actually bother to read. Plutarch, however, references a ton of the books he's read, and so it's very clear that this is a thirst for knowledge for him. Like, he's constantly ingesting sort of like these philosophies, these whatever about like different forms of government, concepts of freedom, etc. And I think it just really goes to show that the importance of reading cannot be undermined.
Period.
Right? And to your point of like it being under wraps, is I think Snow, when he goes into that library, he mentions, he has this derisive comment that he makes to Haymitch, like, what's Plutarch's last name? Heavensby? Okay, he's like, oh, the Heavensbys, they would still have their books. The rest of us had to burn ours, to survive. And like, to be clear, you have to do what you have to do to survive. I'm not dissing that. But clearly Snow does not know what's in these books, because if Snow did know what was in these books, they would be fucking banned. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, these are very dangerous ideas. Just like how there's a lot of songs that are illegal in the capital.
Oh, yeah.
But those people know about books because no one's reading them. No one knows they should be illegal. And I think, like...
And not a lot of people have access to books either.
Yeah, which is the only reason they're not banned. And if Snow knew, they would be banned. But Plutarch, I think, like, he clearly has so much. I know I railed on him last episode, like, really hard for his privilege, which I stand by that when I'm looking at it from, like, Haymitch's perspective. But, like, it's coming from a good place, ultimately. Like, he's asking questions because he has empathy for these kids and for these districts. He doesn't always know the best way to help them. And I think that's where sometimes he comes off as sort of, like, almost white savior-y. Like, it's like, okay, rich boy, tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's like acting like you know what's best for us. But, like, ultimately it's coming from a good place, which is why eventually I think he's so key in the rebellion. It's because he's learning as he goes. And that comes from that reading. It comes from the reading teaching him empathy in the real world, not just in the capital. Study after study after study shows that reading books increases your empathy. Period. Period. And I think that's where Snow actually hating on books so hard, I found so funny. It's just one line. But I was like, that goes to show why Snow doesn't have empathy. I think we all want to think of characters like Snow as like, oh, they were evil seeds. Like, they're just a sociopath. But it's like, I do think a lot of times empathy can be worked on and built. And Snow doesn't build it or work on it. And that's why he doesn't have it.
Period. So, in chapter 9 of the book, because I love referencing the text, when they are in the library, Plutarch asks Haymitch if he likes to read. Well, he says, do you read? And Haymitch is like, I can read. Which I think is a nice, like, yeah, of course I can read, even though books aren't common, you know. And then Plutarch says, no, I meant, do you like to read? And Haymitch says, depends on what. And then Plutarch says, I'm the same. Reading in general isn't a popular pastime in the capital. It's a shame. Everything you need to know about people is right here in this room, which is very telling.
Yeah, I think it goes to show exactly what we're talking about. Like, that's where he's getting his empathy from about people.
Yeah, for sure.
And exactly why those books aren't banned, because no one knows that they are that dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting because Suzanne Collins writes, obviously, a lot of stuff happens in her books. They're very action-fueled for fairly short books. And I think that really makes it so every single piece of data that we get is so important to understanding these characters, which is really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Plutarch, I want to kind of highlight, just lastly, since he these books clearly mean so much to him and reading means so much to him. He mentions at some point in the text that, like, living under oppression is living under oppression. Yeah. Because Haymitch kind of has a snarky line, which, to be fair, eats about, it's like, what the fuck do you know, rich boy? You know, but obviously not like that. Like,
yeah. It's the vibe,
and,
you know?
Yeah, it's the vibe. And Plutarch says, quips back, that the oppression's still oppression. And it really, I think, highlights how important it is, like, the concept of freedom and imprisonment. Like, that juxtaposition is so important to human happiness. No matter how well a cage is built, like in the capital, the cage is more cush, right? It's gold.
Yeah.
But a golden cage is still a cage.
Yeah, period.
Yeah. And so that's why it matters for even people in the capital. Because there are quite a few capital rebels that we know about. And that feels kind of weird, but it's because a golden cage is still a cage.
Yeah, you're still entrapped and a part of the, a part of what's happening, even though some people are willingly a part of it and unaware. And then, that's why people like Plutarch and the other rebels we have want to fight to have that cage broken. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because, even as a capital citizen, we see how dangerous the capital is, even for capital people. Obviously, Snow's whole backstory, we see that. But multiple game makers are murdered violently,
Mm-hmm.
like just crazy things. Like people talk like, oh, that so and so disappeared. Like the threat of violence against capital citizens is still a very much daily facet of life. And so I think that's easy to forget because they have fun lipsticks and crazy extensions in their hairs and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like the threat of violence is still there.
Yeah.
And
And
that would be so hard to live with constantly.
right? That'd be exhausting. Cage
Yeah.
within a cage within a cage. The layers keep
Nesting
layering.
cages.
It's like a nesting doll, but it's just the cages over and over.
It's you're like, yeah, their cage is bigger than District 12's, but it's still there. Like,
It's still there. It's not great. It may be looking pretty fly on the outside because they love they love their fashion, but damn, it still is a cage.
yeah, once you find those bars, you're pretty frustrated.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of wrap it up with our ending thoughts on
Mm-hmm.
our theme of like rebellion in this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, so we want to talk about the ending or yeah.
So our ending thoughts we have listed out in the outline.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read the quote and then we'll see what you say on your.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we end the book with Haymitch saying that he thinks Katniss was, when he's talking about Katniss, he says, but she was smarter than me, or luckier. She was the one who finally kept the sun from rising. Yeah, what does that kind of bring up for you?
I think it's a beautiful line, but I see it as like Haymitch dismissing how important he actually was and not recognizing his importance in all of this. Like we see it even through Katniss's games. Like he has to have a persona of like, besides like, we initially view him as like this guy that's drunk all the time, and like a partier. And that persona started, in a way to help like keep him alive in these games.
And
But
to keep people safe.
And to keep people safe. But we see it still happen because he wants to like, he has a lot that he has to deal with, right? And so I'm imagining that like through all that he feels a lot of guilt and it thinks what happened and like his part of it was not that important in the scheme of things because Katniss's games and what happened in her story, was what got everything to stop. And
yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So when I first read that quote, I pictured just like if that was me, because that sounds like something I would say, like I would dismiss my own feelings, right? And it's like, no, Haymitch was so important. He just doesn't. And that's why he's like, Katniss was luckier. She, had like, was able to make these things happen, which like, it's true, but Haymitch was a part of the groundwork. And it breaks my heart that he doesn't see that in himself.
Yeah, I think the parallels between their games are stark enough.
Uh-huh.
They both weren't the original one drawn. They both try killing themselves at the end to like throw one over on the Capitol. Like just thing after thing. It's like it's so clear to me. They both have a younger sibling at home they're trying to protect. Like it's just so clear that like I can see why he's drawing these parallels, but you're absolutely right. First of all, yeah, Katniss couldn't have survived her games without him being her sponsor. Period. Or getting her sponsors.
Yeah.
Like he slayed that job multiple times. His communication with Katniss was the only reason. But also, to your point of laying the groundwork, there were so many things that he did in his games that and while he's in the Capitol that later helped Katniss. And I think that's hard to see in the moment. And he's drunk out of his fucking mind. Drunk out of his mind. It started as a persona, but he is still actually drunk too.
Actually doing that. Yeah. It started as like as a persona, and then he embraced it.
Yeah,
as like a coping strategy.
Point, you just get addicted, right?
Yeah.
But like he like things that come up to mind for me is like just that fire was catching long before the girl on fire. you know? And this is not to diminish what Katniss does, but
Yeah.
just that groundwork of like, you know, I think of the chariot race, how horribly it went during Haymitch's games. It was a mess. And, you know, a girl dies during it, Lulu, and we're so sad about that because we love her, and like all this wildness, and you don't see that on the screens, but that was the reality. And you think of the fact that that's stuff that Katniss doesn't have to deal with. Her chariot ride was crisp as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they're still on their way to their death. It's still macabre, but like...
Right. Well, and then even like in Catching Fire, her chariot race in that one was literally like... Wait, no, not her chariot race. It was her interview where we see the girl on fire, like, dress scene happen, you know? And that literally is like the most blatant, like, we're rebelling, folks. You know, something's going to change. And yeah, the parallels between Katniss and Haymitch they're so interesting to think about. Because also, like, obviously, like we said, Katniss wouldn't have survived without Haymitch, but also Haymitch had a lot of trust in Katniss and was able to tell her, you know, like enough information to kind of know what was going on while keeping her safe as well. And that's important. Like, Katniss could have easily died and fucked everything up if she didn't know. You know, like, she could have gone rogue and just done her own thing, which she wanted to do most of the time, you know? But, like, if it wasn't for him initially being, like, not just, like, the mentor in the games, but becoming, like, a mentor and friend, you know, they, like, leaned on each other in like the second book and in the third book, you know? It's so important.
They really do. And I think like the changes that Haymitch, you know, he thinks of his rebellion as failed because when he grabs Lulu's body and he brings it up to Snow, he like has that wild dash, you know, away from Peacekeepers to hold her up in front of Snow, like, look at what you did. It's not shown on the cameras. And so he's like, it was worthless. But I think that's why the chariot races go better in the future. And so he thinks of it as useless, but really he saved how many lives going forward? Because if Katniss had been killed, to your point, like, not everyone could have been the girl on fire. We needed all this groundwork, but then you also needed the right person at the right time that had the strength and the intelligence and the whatever, and that was Katniss. And so I think, like, Haymitch's rebellion in that moment helped so much. And then something I really want to highlight too is like that rebellion of running her body forward. And when Maisley kills a Peacekeeper in the games, or he blows up a thing underneath that they're trying to fix that calls that game maker to come, I think like those moments of rebellion, they weren't seen nationwide. And so in Haymitch's mind, they were useless.
Yeah, he feels like he failed.
He feels like he failed because they weren't worth losing his family, which, to be clear, nothing's worth losing your family. Yeah. But, like, I think it's those moments, like, we know that multiple capital people would then know about it. People with high enough clearance, like Plutarch, other game makers, anyone who was in the streets when that chariot ride-in entrance happens for the tributes. Anyone that was in the streets and saw what he did. They can't control that, and now those capital citizens were drunk off their asses mostly, but some of them are going to remember it, and they're going to gossip about it. And so that helps spread the rebellion too. It's not nationwide like he wanted, but all those little events impacted everyone around him. Effie, a big part of Effie changing, comes from Haymitch's kindness and his acts of rebellion. So I think, like, Haymitch isn't seeing that, like, I really believe the reason that Katniss's games goes so much different is because of Victor's, like, and we see this, right? Like, we know multiple of the other people were rebelling in their own ways too, multiple other Victors. And so I think, like, it took year after year after year and all these changes to happen, because then I think it made the propaganda that the Capitol's spinning, it shows the cracks in it.
Yeah.
Right? More and more. Each time it happens, they're able to cover it up so the whole nation doesn't know yet. But more and more people are hearing these rumors, and that's so important. And, you know, and it seems simple, but it's like them having to, like, for example, Plutarch on the train agrees with Maisley that when Maisley's like, do you eat like this? When they want silverware and stuff. Because that Capitol attendant was totally making fun of Lulu. And he gets flustered, and Plutarch's like, they're our guests, give them silverware. because the attendant's like, well, can they have that? You know?
Yeah,
And Plutarch's like,
yeah.
they're our guests. Plutarch's using their own propaganda, like the Capitol's own propaganda against them to get the kids better treatment. Now, obviously, the Hunger Games is still happening by the time Katniss comes around, but think of the shit that Katniss did not have to deal with. And that's because of people like this on the ground. Plutarch, Haymitch, Effie, person after person after person, and many people that we will never know the name of. Katniss is the face of it because she is the one that got seen nationwide. But so many people made these situations better and better because obviously the kids are going to perform better if they're not hosed down with weird anti-lysing chemicals and pesticides and like
and
crazy
treated
shit.
like shit, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Obviously they're going to perform better in the games. They're going to be more intelligent. They're going to be able to fight back better. And so I think like watching the Capitol get boxed into their own propaganda is because of people like Haymitch. And he completely misses that point. And it's like, I think that that's something that we all do too. And actually, I think that's why it's there. It's because I think you said this. You were like, I would think the same. And to be fair, we all would. To be clear, we would all think the same.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, well, we aren't the ones that overthrew the ICE raids that are happening right now. We're not the ones that figured it out. And it's like, you don't have to be the one person that does it. Your little events are helping set up the stage for that last person who's able to break through that barrier, to break that glass ceiling or whatever. Like, I think, like, it just goes to show this is the power of fighting back. There are ripples that come from it, and if all of us are making enough ripples, it does become a tsunami that overthrows an oppressive regime. And we cannot forget that right now, where we are having things, and it is so salient with our book bans happening left and right, the defunding of the Department of Education, thing after thing after thing. It's so easy to kind of take on that Haymitch state of mind of like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I don't blame us.
Yeah. And like we all joke about it, you know, but at the same time, like basically you kind of gave the thesis statement of this whole thing is that like it is those tiny acts that matter even if we don't see the results or benefits of them, you know? And it's important to remember that those little things matter. And like if we stop fighting, nothing's going to change ever. And that doesn't mean it's going to change tomorrow because things take time. But we still have to keep trying. Yeah,
it takes almost Haymitch's whole lifetime, right? I just want to shake him and be like, do you think you fell out of a coconut tree?
Yeah.
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before. It's so easy to forget that when we're fighting the fight right here, right now. But even if we don't see those ripples, they are happening. Speaking up when people are book banning or when we see police brutality in the streets, ICE brutality, cannot be undermined. Speaking right here about book bans. It's so easy. So many people in our spheres and the nerdy spheres, I've noticed, have stopped talking about human rights completely. Because I do think there's this real sense of like, well, what's the point? But I think ultimately Suzanne Collins, we all admit she's a genius. She didn't write these as pain porn, right?
No.
I'm not dismissing that. Everyone I talk to about this book, they're just like, oh, it was so hard to read. And I'm like, no. We got to look at it through a Hope Core lens. Because she did not just write this so that we were all crying under our sheets.
She didn't write this to make us feel bad.
Exactly. She wrote it as a guide for surviving oppressive regimes. And so we must treat it as such. It is a guide. She beat us over the head with those quotes at the beginning of the book because she's like, this is a guide. This is a guide. Like, if you want to just see sad, dying puppies on the internet, you can do that. But that's not what this is.
Like, her even publishing this at the time that it came out is political.
Absolutely.
It is an act of rebellion in and of itself.
She's like one of the ultimate rebels.
For real.
In the book sphere. I heard someone accuse her. They were like, oh, Suzanne Collins hasn't come out against the Gazan genocide. And I was like, have you not read her book?
Have you not read her book? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's against, like, she didn't, like, just because she didn't scream, actually, I do feel like her book screamed it in my face, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what you want.
Right? No, for real.
Pick up a book. You know, engage in the media.
It's kind of similar, like, I know we'll talk about this when we talk about Superman, but like people that are like, oh my gosh, Superman's so woke. And I'm like, what do you mean? Are you admitting that you're racist? Are you admitting that you support shitty things by viewing it in that way? Like, Rachel's seeing it tomorrow, and I'm so excited for her to see this movie. But like,
I've been seeing so many edits. I'm obsessed. We were moving, and I was like, I don't have time to see it, and I was so excited. Anyway, I'm so excited.
yeah, and I've seen it 3 times. Like, but like, similarly, people that are upset at Superman, it's like, okay, so you're admitting that you aren't seeing what's happening. And it makes me think back to when we had Barbie come out, and people that shat on Barbie, it's like, you're missing the point. You know?
You know, it's so funny because I remember when Barbie came out, there were so many people that said this was like on the left as well. Like, because you had the right who was like, oh, it's evil.
Yeah.
It's for supporting a matriarchy. But then on the very left, you had people trying to cancel it because they were like, oh, people acting like it's super feminist, but it's like Feminist 101, which, to be fair, it was Feminism 101. It was very basic. Like, nothing that was said is something I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
But, like, because we're more entrenched in this rhetoric, you and me, but, like, it's so funny because not a year later, Donald J. Trump was elected to the United States presidential office again, with us full well knowing he is convicted of rape, that he was friends with a child pedophile, and like had him at his like we knew a lot of those facts before he was elected. So we were like, oh, it's baby feminism, when really we were so far off. Our society is still so dark that we still do need baby feminism.
Yeah. And also, like, why we need films like Superman, but we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, no, Superman's exactly. I think Barbie and Superman are hope core. Like, that's what they are. Like,
I'm sure,
it's becoming its own genre, I feel like. And I'm so excited about it.
Right. It's why, like, I love seeing that movie as much as I have. I'm like, it's being put in my little library of movies that I'm going to watch when I'm sad.
Hey, so also, Lois Lane, in case anyone was wondering, so I'm going to tell everyone right now, Lois Lane is played by the actress who plays Mrs. Maisel in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's so good! That is such a good... Anyway, everyone should go watch that show, too. If you like Superman, go see Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
She's perfection. Oh, my gosh.
She is perfection. I'm literally obsessed with her. You have no idea.
I want to be her.
Same. Honestly, same. I literally, one of her, to be fair, it's her character, right? But one of Mrs. Maisel's quotes from the finale of the episode, her last episode, is like on my fucking, like, it's like my year mantra. Like, I'm obsessed. I'll put it in the show notes. It's everything. And so it's like, to see this hope core kind of like resurging again is so exciting, and it's so needed. Dark Batman and whatever is fine. It's whatever. Not my thing, but we need more hope core. Like,
yes.
anyway.
Yeah. For real. So, yeah, like we said, thesis statement, little acts cause big ripples. And this book is the manual, it's the blueprint that came out at, like, the best time. And it's crazy that it came out at the time it did, because Suzanne Collins has been working on this for who knows how long before, right? And anytime she releases new media, it's exciting. It's like, oh shit, what are we going to learn this time? But like in a really exciting way.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Damn, I love this book.
Me too. Me too, bitch. Some updates for all of you. You know, it's funny, I'm looking at our updates on our list, and because we broke this episode into 2, all these updates are kind of more or less the same because I'm so behind on every project I've announced.
Hey, that's okay, because you were moving.
I didn't close the business down for it. I was still fulfilling orders, and I have to tell you, it was the biggest mistake of my life. Some girl had messaged me that she was going, she bought my Triwizard earrings, and she was going to the Chicago Harry Potter store, like, on vacation.
Oh, cute.
And it was to fit her little Fleur Delacour outfit, which is so amazing. But like she asked for a special request. And I was prepared for most orders, but where she had a special request, I was like, I don't know where my jewelry making tools are. I don't know where, like, do you know what I mean? And so it caused this whole ripple chain of events, and I couldn't remember which box something had been packed into, so I had to go to Michael's, and then I had a full crash out about it because I was like, if she doesn't get it in time, I'm ruining her vacation. Like, I was like crying in a parking lot. It was a lot. And I was just like, I could never do this again. But anyway, it's funny that I thought I could do projects on top of that, and it's like, bitch, shut up, go home. Except you don't have a home because you're in between homes. Okay, now I have a home, but at the time.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
But I did have a breakthrough. Okay, so we've been talking about the idea of doing a Patreon, and I asked y'all for your opinions last episode, but I'm going to add this on now. Okay, so we talked about the idea of a Patreon, and I was like, I want to hear all your ideas. But here's something I'm going to posit to you now. I literally had this right before this. I was in the shower, and I was like, oh my God.
Shower thoughts.
I've been like, yeah, exactly. I was like, what can I give people monthly that feels like a true value? Because I wanted to keep it kind of cheap, right? Like if it's a whole miniature, it's like the price is too much. So I think we can do a hangout with them, which is something we talked about, but it can't just be a virtual hangout. Like I'm not going to have people pay to hang out with me. That's weird. Okay?
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
That's just a perk, right? What's the main thing? Something I'm thinking of is like, what if it's like snail mail? Once a month, you get like a fandom blog in the mail. Like I just write an essay about a topic, a fandom nerdy topic, and you get it in your mail. Like you would read a blog post, except like snail mail.
That's
like
so
that.
cute.
Okay,
like,
I'm so glad you
I think that's so cute because it's like pen pals, but it's just from you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. People can write back if they want, but like I was like.
And plus, like, I miss getting physical. Like, we all get excited when we get packages in the mail, but I love getting a good, like, postcard in the mail.
Yeah.
I have a friend that, with her small business, she makes little, like, postcards, like, little thinking of you notes and stuff. And so occasionally she'll just send me one for fun, even though we talk all the time. You know?
That's so cute.
Yeah. And
I signed up for this woman's thing. It was like a year ago. It's like really, like, it's everywhere. It's a poem club.
Oh, cute.
Like poetry. And she writes a poem, and you just get it in the mail once a month. You get a poem in the mail, and then she writes like a little letter, like about.
How have I not heard about this?
It's dope, bitch. I'll let you read some of the ones. I have some on my fridge. I'll send you some links.
Okay.
I'll link it down below. I don't think she like, it's not always accepting new people because she's had to scale up. I think she went viral, and she was like.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, she was like, this is a great problem, but a problem. But so I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, that's exactly, because it brought me so much joy, and I was like, how can I do this? And like a sticker a month is hard because that's a lot of design work, a lot of whatever. I was like, I just don't know if that's like, if I'm being honest, I don't think I have that in me, but I can write an essay all day, every day. Okay? Yeah. Like you give me a long format, I'm there, bitch. So like, anyway,
that's why we're podcasting long form.
That's why we're podcasters. And like, honestly, like I'm the one that writes our outlines, and sometimes I go way too hard, guys. Like it's a problem.
No, they're great.
Like I'll be like, oh, we're not prepared, and then I'm like, like it'll be like 3 hours later.
No, it's so funny. I mean, we've joked about it a lot, but anytime like the both of us prep, we're like, this is gonna take, like an hour. Again, 3 hours later, oh shit. That's why this is two parts,
Exactly. We're too talkative, but I think this will be perfect because, like, I think I have a lot to say still, like, beyond the podcast. So, anyway, but let me know, like you're supposed to let me know other things you might like to get monthly as part of being part of a Patreon. Let me know if that's something you all would be interested in. Like $6-7 a month, it would come to your door.
That'd be so cute.
I'm hoping so. The Poem Club girl, she does a thing where she, like, ties a little red string on like the first 100 she does every month, and it's so simple, but like I might like
it's extra but cute, and you could like I just thought you could make your own little like FanCorner like rubber stamp and like stamp your little letters.
The only thing is that makes it way more expensive to ship. So
like
use a regular stamp.
No, like I'm just saying like the letter.
No, I see you. For some reason, I was picturing a wax seal at first. No, I hear you now. It's all coming together. I get you.
Cause I could even maybe help you do that. Cause I've I have friends and have seen so many people make their own cute like rubber stamps and stuff, and I've always wanted to try. So
like where they like etch them out.
mm-hmm.
I've seen that. Yeah. Oh, I would be very impressed if you could do that.
That'd be fun. I could try,
color
maybe.
me impressed. Also in the show notes, you will find my upcoming book tour dates, which I just added another stop to. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting to go to her book events. They're so cute.
Jelaire's so excited she comes to book events that don't even exist.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wait, that was so funny. So yeah, like a couple weeks ago, I thought I put in my calendar that one of her book events was this day, and I showed up to the bookstore and nothing was going on, and I immediately was like, wait, where is she? And there's like, oh my gosh, no one's here. That's so sad. Rachel's gonna be so sad. And I was like, no, shit.
She's a failure.
No. I just knew it would make you sad, and so it made me sad. And so I was like, So then I texted her and Brian and was like, where are you? And then she called me and we figured it out. I had it for the month prior.
So funny because we had just ran a load to the new apartment from the old place. And we were like gonna go grab dinner and then do another one. And I get this text from Jelaire that's like, where are you? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where is she? And I was like, do you think she's at our house? Like our old house? I said that to Brian. And he was like, I don't have anything on the calendar. And so I'm panicking because I'm like, where is she? Like
right.
So, I was like so panicked. Anyway, that was hilarious.
No, it was hilarious. And then Rachel was very sweet and Venmo'd me money to buy a book. So I bought this book.
I forgot I did that. Look at me being an icon.
Yeah, I found this in the fantasy area and I hope it's good. I haven't touched it yet. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? Also, like,
that is really pretty.
That's pretty dope, you know?
Did you read the new V.E. Schwab that's behind you, or is it just on display?
It's on display. Okay. I have the audiobook for it as well, but I'm trying to finish actually the Peter Pan book that I've been reading that you've wanted me to read for forever. So I'm going to finish that first.
Oh my god! Kate, what's so funny is I was like, what Peter Pan book?
LOL.
It's like one of my favorite books. I think of it as a Wendy and Hook book for whatever reason, but you're right. It's a Peter Pan book.
Hey, that's fine. I have a feeling it's going to go Wendy and Hook eventually. I'm just not there yet. So.
No, I just think this Pan, I didn't mean it like that. She doesn't, I don't know about that. But just like, I think this Pan is so unique. He doesn't even feel like Pan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
Like his own bro. Yeah.
Which, for everybody, the book is called, is it Losing Wendy? Is that the name of the first book?
Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, by T.A. Lawrence. It's fucking amazing. I will say, though, I loved this. This is one of my top reads from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a trilogy. I think about it actually all the time. Like, literally yesterday I was sitting around thinking about it.
Yeah.
But
it is dark.
It's very dark. But actually worse than that is the author. I ended up, because I wanted to follow along on her journey, concerned, but I don't know, that she might lean away. That's not great.
Womp womp.
She links a lot of Christian stuff on her website. And maybe she likes Jesus in the love thy neighbor way, right?
Yeah.
But we all know that sometimes that's not
what
when
people
you're really
are doing.
upfront with it. What's going on?
Yeah.
Because there's the love thy way Jesus lovers, and then there's the I hate everyone. I only believe in white Jesus people, even though Jesus wasn't white. So I don't. Anyway,
who fucking knows?
I just want to caveat that in case I'm promoting someone problematic. I can't tell for sure. She's not big enough to know. There's not Reddit threads about it.
Right. But yeah, no. I do want to read this after I finish that other book. But this is my cool signed edition. It's got a stamp because of her tour. So it's like...
Because you're such an icon, you're going to things. Bitch, I just found AirPods in my pajama pocket.
That's so funny.
I've been looking for these for 2 weeks. Thank God I didn't wash these pajamas.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I'm a mess, Jelaire.
Same.
I lost my Apple Watch, and I still have not found it, and it's been 4 months.
Cause I noticed you haven't worn it anymore, and I was like, what happened?
And we were like, okay, we're gonna move it. We're gonna find it when we move, because we'll move all our furniture. Still not here. But like, its last known location was our house. So like, Brian's like dead convinced it's in one of my bags. I have checked them, but you know, I don't know. Sometimes things still are in the things, so I don't know.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. We're just kikiing at this point. Okay.
Okay.
Let us know what you think in the show notes. What did we miss? What did we get wrong? What did we get right? You know, you don't always have to just roast us. No one's ever done that, but I always start with negative, so I figured I might as well be a little positive. Let us know what you think of the Patreon. Because if people are into this, I could start this, honestly, in a month or two. I think me writing essays, that's so fun for me to do in my downtime that it wouldn't feel too onerous. So let me know if y'all are into it, because I only want to start it if people like it. But there would also be the added perk of a hangout with me and Jelaire, where you could ask us anything.
Yeah.
Upcoming episodes you have to look forward to is we're going to do our Superman episode. We're also going to be doing FanCorner NSWF edition, as if we're not already not safe for works. So we're going to need to come up with an even raunchier title, maybe, like FanCorner After Dark.
No, I think that's the most appropriate. Just like FanCorner After Dark, you know?
Yeah. We're gonna let our hair down. We're gonna tell you the smut we actually do like. I'm gonna admit to some fanfic that has been deeply hidden that I like. It's gonna be fucking hilarious. So there's a lot to look forward to coming in the future. But in the meantime, have a very magical day.